Okay, New World, Mike, and about to clean and prepare a deer heart for the first time. We're going to do it fried, I guess Michigan style, what I found on the internet. I have actually used for the cleaning and preparation this Meat Eater's How to Clean a Heart 101.
Just sort of trim this off. And so when I think about...
I can put a link to this, but this is good information about...
The first time you look at it, you're like, what's going on, what's in there? And the best way for me to understand anything is to learn the anatomy. What are you looking at? You've got 4 chambers, 2 atriums, and then this is the right ventricle, this is the left. The left is always bigger of the two, and you'll notice when you open it up, this side is going to be a lot thicker, and this side is going to be a lot thinner, and then running down the middle is a septum. It's a wall of meat that divides 2 chambers, and then these are the pulmonary aortic arteries that you want to cut out. I'm going to start by cutting off the top. These atriums, they look like there's a little bit of meat connected to it, but underneath are a lot of tendons, and so I usually don't really save this piece, especially if it's a smaller animal. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to make a little incision.
Yeah, so check it out. I'm just going to follow this cleaning, and then we're going to fry it.
How much?
Stay tuned. Okay. First things first, we're going to get the top part off and any of this fat. And I've never done this before, so per my research, all this fat, which you can feel it. If you're ever in doubt, just use your fingers so that you're not wasting meat. So I'm just making pretty much tracing the outline, going in real shallow. See the meat there? And then I'm just going to use my fingers to kind of pull that fat back. Just separate it. And from what I understand, once you get this top portion off, you'll be able to kind of see down in there a little bit better. Kind of a fatty layer here. You can definitely feel it. This is definitely not a cold heart, but if it had been cold, you know, a little more frozen, then I'm sure that this would be even harder. But it is evidently harder. I mean, you can you notice that what you're grabbing onto is fat. So I'm just kind of wringing around here. And once I get, you know, that nice and separated all the way up, there. You can go ahead and start cutting that away. Anything that's this white color, I just try to, well. So from what I also understand about the anatomy, you've got left and right. So there's some blood clot up in there. I'm going to clean that out. I'm not even going to, but you can see what I'm talking about here. Some blood clot. We're definitely going to want to clean that out, which I will in a moment. It's really, as a first timer, I'm not, and granted I do have some experience with just cutting meat, just go down through that, get all that off. So all this, as you can see, that white color, no good. We're left with our heart, and I'm going to just trim this up a little more and clean that out, and I'll be right back with you. Alright, so now that we've got it trimmed up, I've got that blood clot out. There is a vein that runs through here, and so we are going to cut. You can see you're going to leave this piece, you're just trimming this meat away here. Oops, messed up there a little bit and cut a little meat, but it's alright because It's all going to go into the frying pan, which I have started to heat. Cast iron takes a little longer. So these little spiderweb looking things here, you're going to want to trim away, and kind of take your time with that. Pull it with your fingers, or whatever works best for you. And you're just trimming that down. And I'll come back on my cutting board there. Alright, so now you got this piece of meat, which we're going to trim up the spider web here. This piece here, it's also going to get trimmed up. There is another artery here, so we can go ahead and cut through right there. And this will open up like a book all the way down, and we can go ahead and cut there as well. So all I'm going to do, all these heartstrings, if you will, I'm going to separate them. I'm going to trim this up better. I'm going to probably slice them into a little bit smaller slices. I'm going to dredge them, same process as a squirrel. If you didn't watch that, it's a simple flour back in milk, or excuse me, flour, milk, back in flour, and the flour has just been dressed up with these seasonings. So paprika, small amount of paprika, onion powder, garlic powder, pepper, and salt, and like I said, flour, milk, back in flour, into peanut oil or whatever oil you've got. We'll see how that goes. So this is my first time doing this. I have just watched the video. The meat eater, he's partnered with some girl. I'm not sure who she is, but I can put a link in the description to the video. And I said it's a very easy to understand demonstration on how to clean a heart, and I just followed that to a T. And they have another one that's a recipe for some kind of like Korean barbecue heart. I intend to try that, but in the past I've always let this go just straight to the gut pile. Never spent a whole lot of time on or almost ashamed, but it's like you don't know what you don't know, so don't feel bad. Just in the future, if you're interested in doing it, try it. And I think just based on the smell, the color, my experience, deer meat in general, I really do enjoy. I also saved the liver and fully intend to use that the same way. So I'm just trimming this off kind of like you would, I guess, silver skin, if you can see this. Just get right up underneath this vein. All the bags kind of smoke points. Kind of smell smoke, but so that's pretty clean. Like I got that vein out, got all the spider webbing off. I'm gonna cut that up in a moment after I get all these cleaned up. Okay. Alright. So, I want decent sized pieces. Yeah, it is pouring down rain. I was actually about to go out to the woods, and might very well still, because I'm obviously at the house, and there is a little roof over my stand, so at least the seat won't be soaking wet. But I went out there last night and there was a doe feeding around 7. It's 5:15 right now. Sneak out there around 6 if it's died off, especially if the rain's died off, because you guys probably know as well as I do, they want to eat. They need to eat 4 times a day at least. If they didn't move before this rain, they're definitely going to be moving right after, at least from my experience. Grab some milk there with me. Huh. October 1st, that's my birthday. That's not today. Today is September 28th. Don't need a lot of milk. Okay. So we're going to just proceed to flour. Oh, sorry about that. Flour. Try to do it if you can. If you got a big enough bowl to do the flour like that, you know, it's really nice to do them all at the same time, and then no problem, you can just pull them back out onto here. Okay. Oil's nice and hot. Feel it already on my arm. Should be pretty good. Looks like, at least. Again, never tried hard of any kind. Got this idea. Well, I said from meat eater, but got this idea when I was cleaning a deer, and the liver and guts. Steve Rinella talks about, you know, they will pull over on the side of the road and get, you know, deer or elk hearts out of the gut pile. That's pretty high praise for heart. You know, I've had to at least try it out. Almost done here. Oop. And no big deal. If we can't get out there to kill that doe tonight, we'll get it first thing in the morning. Alright. Now we're going to go into the oil. And we're just really making this as a kind of mid-afternoon snack. It's 5. Usually when I get out of the woods, we will eat something, you know, around 8, where the kids take their bath and go to bed. Seems to work pretty good for us, but you know, we eat small meals throughout the day, and before we go to the grocery store, before we go hunt or anything like that, just to kind of, you know, minimize the amount of time we have to go eat out. Here we go. Try to put them all in at the same time. Let's space them out. You probably can't see this, but I will put you in frame in just a moment if you cannot. Don't want to crowd the pan, but also want to get all this in one because I know it's not too much. Okay, there we go. And I'll let that go for probably about a minute and a half to 2 minutes. It is 5:21 on the dot, so 5:22 and 20 seconds. Fuck. Cannot believe that wasn't filming. Okay, well, I went about a minute and a half in a hot pan. Like I said, when I do oil in a cast iron, I will start it at, you know, high, and then I'll dial that back to 2 or 3, and that radiant heat will keep, you know, that oil hot plenty long enough to cook, you know, a panful or maybe even 2 panfuls of meat. So like I said, a minute and a half on the first side, got a nice brown, flip it over to the other side about a minute, which is in 5 seconds. So we're going to go ahead and pull this out. Okay. Okay, gonna kill the beef. Don't want it overdone, but well, definitely don't want it overdone, and don't want it too underdone. But in my experience, anything venison is better undercooked than overcooked. Overcooked venison, it is over. You might as well be chewing on shoe leather. Okay, we're about to try heart for the first time. Deer heart for the first time. Ari, go ahead. Ladies first. Oh, skimming out with a little piece.
Oh, wait.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Well,
It's good.
it is good.
A lot better than expected.
See, I was worried I'd bite into it and be bloody. Exactly the opposite. We did, I think, a minute and a half on the first side, a minute on the other side. Perfect. I can't really explain it. It's not foul in any way. It's very pleasing. No offensive or strong taste. I mean, even for in the grand scheme of all meats, I would say not just for venison. I'd say just overall, with a completely open mind, this is very mild in taste, and it's got on the outside. I think that may have to do with my trim job. The spider web, whatever you would call that, I guess veins. You can definitely tell it on the outside, but the inside is soft, like not super soft, but almost like a beef tender, you know. That's good. I will never leave this in a bait pile or in a gut pile again.